Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Cecilia Omogbe, right here from Lagos studio. Ken Ochonago is in London. He will be joining me on the show today. But this is what it looks like on the show. We will be talking about the CAF Women's Champions League gets underway. It started on Saturday, of course. Representative from Nigeria, that's Nigeria Women's Premiership champions, Edo Queens. They are also Wafobi champions. Representing Nigeria right there in Casablanca in Morocco. They'll be in action later today. Yes, Super Eagles team list will get our attention because the strikers across Europe are firing across all cylinders. We'll have an expert in the building to actually dissect what the strikers of the Super Eagles are doing across Europe. And also, yes, we'll touch on WTA finals. Finally, Coco Gauff didn't have a fantastic summer, but to end the year, she has won WTA finals for the first time in her history. And of course, she's the youngest player to do that in 20 years. The last time we had a player actually winning that at this age, at 20, she's 20 years old, yes, was Maria Sharapova. She and Serena Williams played finals, and that was when Maria Sharapova won it. That like 20 years ago. That's a long time ago, but hey, she's the champions of WTA finals. And of course, NPFL will get our attention. Canopilla is going to Benin City to beat Bender Insurance. And also, Lobby Stars are finally, they got a win after they had a new coach coming in Lostrom. The first win for Lobby Stars on Saturday. So these and many more we'll be talking about. Yes, the basketball will also get our attention, talking about the FIBA Africa Women's Basketball League, where MFM representing Nigeria. You had two teams, Nigeria Customs and MFM, both played in the semi-finals, but MFM got a ticket to the final rounds that will be played in Dakar in Senegal. So Ken is in London, and of course, right here in the studio, we have Kwemi Ajala on point today. Congratulations. No traffic, nothing. Not even the national grid could stop you, the collapsing. And you're right here in the studio. Good to have you.
No, that was unexpected.
No, it has been coming for the past 2 weeks. But again, thanks for having me, Cecilia. As I said before we started, yesterday was the grand finale for the Value Jet, which was a ranking competition, one of the biggest in Africa, a factor of 20. And the Iraqis and Iranians were here in their large numbers. And the star athlete for me was Zamani, the lady that beat Awon Kafaya at Olaiton in the Premier Class 7, and also our Paralympic medalist Isha Ogunkule losing that final to the Iraqis. It was like a reminiscence of what we had in 1986 Bonfita final between Yomi Bankole and if I brought back the memory, and Atonda Musa, but unfortunately Isha who just settled for the silver medal. But again, because at least I've been there for like the past 4 editions, why the quality of play has greatly improved, because we have people from the UK, Iran, Iraq, Benin, Togo, Cameroon.
I think we're going to dedicate a day to talk about it next Sunday, right? Yes. Next Sunday, obviously, we're going to dwell on this. You're going to be seeing the winners on the show.
Logistics-wise, the all was tough with the AC not working. That was the low point.
Wow. Okay, Theophilus Abulao, nice to have you here.
Yeah, finally. I couldn't make it in last week, but it's good to be back.
I understand. The Barcelona, they have a very big game, so you can skip that.
Wow, amazing. But it's all good. We'll take it.
Ken, ready to join us now.
You see, you came with all ammunition. The way you fired at Haba. And I thought today is in London. Go on.
No, continue. I mean, Okme was here before 12 noon. I mean, it was wonderful. When I saw him, I'm like, I wasn't even dressed for the show, and he was here already. I was like, what happened? You know, I know what he faced every time trying to come here. The traffic and everything. It's not always funny. So when you see Okme here, you know that the whole of Lagos is free. So, which is a good one. So I was really happy about that. But Ken, yes, today is a fantastic show. Yes, at least the fact that we have majority, we have women, and of course we have basketball, we have football, we have tennis, loaded package today. But we're going to starting off with the Super Eagles, of course. And Dafe Otite is also joining us on the program.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, Cecilia. Good afternoon, Okwe. Good afternoon, Ken, Cecilia, Okwe. Good afternoon, viewers.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Yeah, Ken, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, today, like you said, it is loaded. It is in Lagos we call it Ilubiri because there are a lot of female talk on the show. It's exciting: female basketball, female football, female tennis, and then probably we'll just chuck in the Super Eagles. And like you said, Daffy has been looking at the expert to look at the list of what is happening. The modus that in which we invite players to the camp. For some people, it is form and fitness. For some people, it is in there. We know a lot of criteria, but we do not know. But Daffy is saying from his stats, probably let us know what he has to say about what the list is. Let us have, if we can have the list, and maybe Daffy will not take us across.
Take us through that. All right, let's start off with the list. I mean, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they will be up against Rwanda and Benin Republic this November at the international window. That's the time they used to play the final round of qualifiers. It's just the point that Super Eagles will need to get into, to pick a ticket to Morocco. We're going to be having Winter Nations Cup because the women's will be in summer, but that of the men will be winter in Morocco. But the Super Eagles, the list is finally out, and of course you have players like Victor Osimhen returning to the squad, and Sadiq Umar also coming back, and you have Osho could not play for the last one when he was invited due to injury. He's also back, and we have just one home-based player who happens to be a defender, Victor Collins of Nasarawa United. Let's take a look at that list. And of course, we know Daffy will react to this. We know that about 24 players are right there. And for you, before we go to Daffy, which of these players, that we've talked about, which of these players that we've been talking about that you feel that could have made the list? Taiwo Winnie is not there, for us, but then you have other players, Victor Osimhen, Boniface, and all of them.
On current form, Ahmed Musa will be in that list, and I'll drop Sadiq Umar, who has more yellow card and goals this season.
I would have gone with Ciro Desses. He's been scoring goals, and probably over Sadiq Umar, like I correctly put it.
Okay, let's go to Daffy now to tell us. I mean, we've talked about the Super Eagles attacking options and their performance indices across Europe. He will be telling us more about that and why we don't have some of these players who are performing so well in the squad list. After we've listened to him, we'll then listen to the assistant coach who has been talking about the reason why some of those players were invited and why some were not invited, talking about Daniel. But first, let's go to Daffy first. Daffy, I mean, we've been talking about the attacking options that we have with the Nigerian national team. I mean, we have two of the hottest strikers right now in Europe, which is the making waves, Demola Lookman and, of course, Victor Osimhen. We've seen what they're doing in Europe. For you brought out this performer indices and all that. We'll take a look at it shortly. But these players that have been invited, is there a player that you think that could have fit into this final round of qualifiers?
Yeah, I think Okwe touched on one player who has also been mentioned by Coach Eguavon. Coach Eguavon has said that Ciro Desses is still in his plans. He's still relevant. He has been firing on all cylinders. He's one of our top goal scorers in Europe this current season. We have several players who are on nine goals in at most 14 games that we played so far. You spoke about Lookman and Osimhen. They're the two hottest strikers in Africa today. We also have Victor Boniface, who is in the squad, who is doing good things for his club. Maybe not quite so well for the Super Eagles, but that is for the coach to find a system to get Victor Boniface involved in the goals. But when you look at the matrix that I put up, we have players like Tolu Arokodare, we have players like Josh Maja, we have players like Jerome Akor, also Dakwa Holayon of St. Pauli is in amongst the goals. Again, we only require 1 point to qualify for AFCON. If we get that point against Republic of Benin, then the game against Rwanda becomes a training session, more or less. And what better way to get new players, what better way to test players than to test them once you have qualified. Like I said, Cyril Dessers, Aroko Dare, Josh Maja, they are players who deserve a look-in. But even more than that, when we're looking at the selection policy, we need to select on merit. We need to reward players who are doing well in their teams, in Europe, even in Nigeria. And the way to look at it is to look at players who are doing well in the Champions League. They may not be the biggest teams in Europe, but if they are scoring in the UEFA Champions League, they're scoring in the Europa League, if they're scoring in the Europa Conference League, if they are doing things in the CAF Champions League even. And we have seen the Chan Eagles, they've been called up for a training camp. That's probably where we got Victor Collins involved in the Super Eagles. This is the way to select, because we need a bench which is as strong as the first 11. We need a bench to push the first 11 to succeed. And if we don't reward, especially the younger players, if we don't reward them with, even if it's just an opportunity to train with the Super Eagles, how do they then step up?
Okay, I get your point here. Let me come to the guys in the studio. You know, he just reeled out these players, you know, that he has mentioned. Ademola Lookman, of course, 13 games he has played. He has scored 8 goals, highest goal scorer, Cyril Dessers that you mentioned. But he's not in the team. He's the highest goal. He scored 9 goals and he has played 19 games. Though he has played more games than the other players. Josh Maja also has played 14 matches, where he has scored 8 goals. We have Moses Simon is in the list, who plays for Nantes. He has scored 2 goals in 9 games. Jerome McCall, he also mentioned, he scored 10 goals in 3. He has scored 3 goals in 10 matches, but he's not part of the squad. But the players that are part of the squad that we focus on, you have Ademola Lookman, you have Victor Osimhen, of course. After 8 games, he has scored 9 goals. You also have Kelechi Iheanacho, 7 matches, he has scored just 2 goals. He's on the list. Victor Boniface also on the list. He has played 14 matches, he has scored 8 goals. But we have players like Josh Masha, like Cyril Dessers, and of course, which other players come on? Those two players we can pick that have, you know, scored more goals, but they are not on this list. But we have players that have not even scored a goal this season. Talking about Real Sociedad's Umar Sadiq, he has played 8 matches. He's yet to score a goal. Of course, Taiwo Awoniyi is not part of it. And the reason he has played 8 matches, he hasn't scored a goal this season for his team. So for you guys, after Cyril Dessers and of course maybe Josh Maja, any other player that could have made the list who hasn't scored as many goals as it. But we also have Tolu of Genk also, 8 goals.
You know, see, you know, from a technical standpoint, at least, we are not the ones picking these players.
Yeah.
They have their reasons for selecting the players, and I want to believe that they are the best at what they do, so they know why they are doing it. Sadiq Umar, some people say he's a different kind of striker. Well, he's a different kind of striker, probably give you a different kind of dimension on the pitch. But if we were to reward players with call-ups based on performance, like Coco rightly put it, you don't give a player that has more yellow cards than goals the opportunity to play ahead of players that are constantly firing on all cylinders. Okay, even Moses Simon, I saw his game yesterday. I think he got a goal yesterday as well, an integral part of his team, talking about Nantes. Cyril Dessers, someone that I personally feel should have been called up. And then Daffy made a statement. He said, when you do not call up players from the NPFL, these guys don't get to play with the Super Eagles, internationals. How are you building them up? You need players that will be able to compete with those already in the squad. You need players that will probably be as good as the guys that you are calling up. So that, you know, there's some form of competition. In the event that you mess up, you have issues. It takes me back to 2010 when Argentina went to the World Cup. Having players like Lavezzi, Cavani, Lavezzi, Messi, Tevez, Di Maria, quite a number of their guys, Aguero, all scoring goals. So everybody knew that if you are not performing, you will not make the squad, or you will be booted out of the first team. So we look at it like this. Players that should be getting call-ups, not getting call-ups, it makes you begin to ask questions that, okay, this technical team, how technical are they really?
Okay. Yeah, how technical are they? From that.
For me, Sadiq is not about this season. Look at the last two full seasons and this season, he has scored just 6 goals. In 2 full seasons, and now we have 8 matches this season. And now talking about even calling players on past reputation. Ahmed Musa, yes, it was debatable. Should Ahmed be in the Chan team? We're saying no, he should not be. But for the Super Eagles, with the form Ahmed is in the NPFL, which is more tougher to score than some leagues in Europe, I don't see why Kelechi and Sadiq should be ahead of Ahmed in the pecking order in the Super Eagles list.
That's an interesting topic. Dafe, I know you monitor Nigerian Premier League. That's why you're always advocating for we having more of these players. But after the shout and everything, they finally got one. Abbas Obasogi used to play for Benin Insurance as a goalkeeper. He has gone to Ethiopia. That's where he plays in football right now. So we don't have a goalkeeper from home that is with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So Victor Collins was finally called up, in the defense line. And I'm sure that's simply because Ajayi is actually injured. Maybe that's the reason, he was even called up.
Yeah, because again, when we look at the Super Eagles list, typically they will send out an expanded list pending the final games before the FIFA international window, and then they screen it down to 24. If they get that final list right, then there is very little problem with the call-ups. But the fact is, when you are calling the likes of Basoge, who is playing at the bottom of the Ethiopian league, he's somebody who used to be with Bendel Insurance. He has moved on to Ethiopia, not one of the top teams there. They are 16th in the league. Then you're now blocking players who you see day in, day out. I think the Ethiopian league, their next match is in 2 weeks' time. Their last match was a few days ago. So they don't even play regularly or as regular as our NPFL players. Now, why I mentioned the NPFL players is we had the opportunity to camp them. We had the opportunity to have a look at them and use that to plug holes. If we get the original list correct, then it will be very difficult for the NPFL players to match up. But in the situation where we are, this window where the Chan Eagles are camped and they will come back again in a couple of weeks, then we have a very good opportunity to look at them and say, right, we have this gap in the squad. Let's use this player to plug that gap. Yes, they may not have the experience, or they may not have what we require from the European teams, but we do not know that unless we call them. Somebody might surprise you and just fit in naturally into the team, but if you don't try them, you will not know.
That's a good point there. Ken, I know you want to chip in on this one. We have two coaches who are coaching in the NPFL with Austin Eguavoen right there in camp, talking about Fidelis Ilechukwu and also Daniel Ogumodede, the coach of Remo Stars, coach of Rangers. I mean, these are the two top teams we have in the league. Ken, this one is for you. I mean, with these coaches, it's as if even if we have these two coaches, with Austin Eguavoen right there in camp, we still can't get players that can at least, these are final rounds of qualifiers. You have 2 matches and you have just 1 point to qualify and make it, to Morocco. So does that mean even with this final round of matches, we still can't get 3 or 4 players, from the NPFL? I mean, rest some of these Europe players that we've talked about, some who have even scored a goal in like almost how many months, but they are right here. They are on the list.
Thank you. My position has always been clear on this. It has to do with form and fitness. If you are fit and you are in form, you make the team. We make a lot of talk about experience. I don't know how much experience Lamine Yamal has or Kobe Mainoo has, but before they went to Europe and shined at the biggest stage. I don't know how much experience Pelé had in 1958 when he went to the World Cup and was outstanding. Your talent is nurtured. I think First, let me commend Daffy for this job, for what he just did here, because I mean, apart from bringing their goals or whatever, he went to the extent of bringing that goal contribution per minute. I mean, every 30 minutes you make a goal, or you contribute a goal. Every 15 minutes you make, and that gives you the stats that technical team or the technical department needed to do that. I don't my take on this. I don't care whether you are playing in the MP. I'm not saying you must bring players from the NPFL. I'm not saying, my own is that any Nigerian anywhere, as long as you are doing well. If they are doing well in Europe, they are doing NPFL, to give them a level playing field, for them to be invited, not because of the coloration of or the weather or where you are playing. So basically, what other thing I want to say here is Daffy talked about camping of the Chan Eagles. I do believe that Eguavoen and if it's at least I can say okay, the other coaches, because if they are not in the national team, they are in their clubs. Eguavoen should be part of the Chan coaching team, not as the head, but to be there so that you can monitor. That is how it is done in most areas, so that he can monitor those players that are in camp. That's okay. I can pick this, I can pick that. Of course, his players see them, his assistants see them week in, week out. But basically, when they come together, that is where you have to pick from the creme de la creme. Playing their club different, but when they come together and ask that, how they can synergize, how they can make the team, and you can pick him from there. I believe that process is what we should be looking at. But like we say, it is subjective. What I see in a player is not what another person see in a player, because your playing style and whatever, and who you used to complement the other person, like. Theo did mention here about maybe Sadiq. What does he bring in? Maybe because of his height or whatever, he want to nod the ball back to whoever I'm playing with, and coaches look at certain things to come whatever they want to pick. But the major criteria is if Lamine Yamal, if Kobe Mainu can be picked just into the national team after playing less than 10 games for Manchester United and being there, then it tells that it is fitness and form that coaches look all over the world.
Yeah. What in conclusion, what you're thinking is that Eguavoen is with the Chan team. He shouldn't be the head coach, just a part of it. Why Ilechukwu and Daniel handles the main thing. That's what you're saying. Telling us. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That is the thing. He hosts this for the big boys, but when this child, you just go there, sit down and monitor what they are doing while they are doing their work. He's still the head coach of whatever. That is how it is. He supervises, whatever happens.
Okay.
And not as if he's superior to them, but while he's coaching the Super Eagles, he has to look at what which players I want to bring in and whatever they are doing.
Yeah,
I think to that solution synergizes and keep them together.
All right, Daffy, before we let you go, final one on this list, and also what we can actually do better in terms of selection. I mean, you've done a great job, as Ken mentioned, bringing out the stats, their goal per minute contribution to their teams, and what these players have done. But we've, right here in the studio, Okpeyemi mentioned Ahmed Musa, who is playing for Kano Pillars. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. We'll head into NPFL later on. But then, Ahmed Musa, can he still make this team? It's as if he's been frozen out totally from all indication.
Can he still make this team? Anybody can make this team. I mentioned a name previously because we seem to be struggling for attacking midfielders. I mean, if we are going to talk about Ahmed Musa joining the team, is he better than Ademola Lookman? Is he better than Moses Simon? It's debatable. Like Ken said, different coaches, different pundits look at different aspects of a player. But you have to look at how they fit in. A lot of noise has been made as to Ahmed Musa. He's a positive influence. He's a motivator. He's good for the team. If he is better than the options that we have, then there's no reason why he cannot be called back. But it has to be based on merit. It has to be the best fit, and it has to be the best person in that position. I started off with a point to say our bench has got to be as good as the first 11. The bench has got to push the first 11 for a starting spot. Because if we go back as far back as '94 World Cup, it's our bench that has always been our Achilles heel. It's our bench that when things are not going well on the pitch, that you look to the bench to say, who can change this around? Who can bring something different? And yes, we spoke about Sadiq Umar being a different kind of striker. He's a different kind of striker who has not scored a goal in his last 9 games. His last 9 matches, all the way back to September. So you can have somebody who is a different kind or brings an option, but they have to do it on the pitch. Again, going back to this attacking midfield position, I said, okay, we have a veteran in the same team as Ahmed Musa, Rabiu Ali. If we are struggling for an attacking midfielder, why have we not tried him to see in all the years that he has been playing in the NPFL, all the years that he has been playing in Chan? He has never been given a chance with the Super Eagles in a position where we have been sorely lacking. If I dare say, as far back as since JJ Okocha retired. Yeah. But we have not been able to do this. So when we look at how we prepare players for this thing, we have the Chan Eagles. We should have an under-23 standing team. We saw our under-20s play the WAFU B qualifiers, and they have qualified for AFCON. Why do we not look to those players to see if we can plug these gaps? There are other players within Europe. There's Ebenezer Akinsamiro. He was part of the under-20 previously. He's playing regularly for Sampdoria now. We have Crisantos Uche, who used to be an under-20 for us. He's playing in La Liga with Getafe. He's doing very well. He's an attacking midfielder as well as a striker. Hamza Tojediron, who was another under-20 previous, playing in Ligue 1 for Lens. He scored in the match against Moses Simon and Nantes yesterday. So we have these options, but if we do not try them with them, we will never know. And we need to motivate these people, because you call them up to camp, you call them up to train with the Super Eagles. It gingers them to go back to their team and try and reach the next level so that they can meet up to the level that we need them for the Super Eagles. We should not really be struggling. It's a failure in recruitment as opposed to a failure of the players themselves.
All right, we need to go on this short break. When we come back, of course, we'll talk about the NPFL.
We want to go to win all matches. It doesn't matter whether, I'm not even aware we just needed a point. All I'm aware is, according to what he told us, the mentality he gave to everyone is to go to all matches and win. We just want to go to all matches and win, regardless of the number of points that is left to qualify. First, the priority is for us to qualify. Secondly, to win all games as they come. We take every game as they come, and the maximum 3 points is what is important to us, according to the head coach. The head coach has come up with a list, discuss with us as his backroom staffs that we think they are competent and capable to represent the country. And they are all familiar faces, apart from maybe Gabriel Shaw, that is new in the setup now, because Semi Ajayi has had injury and he undergoes surgery, and Sadiq has been in the team for a while. He was also out due to injury. Now he's back, and maybe calling, because the head coach felt we needed the centre-back left foot, and presently in the league we have a calling that has, to a reasonable extent, proved his worth. This is to show that the head coach is doing a massive job. He has gone around the country to watch the league, and in Victor Collins, he has this utmost belief. I haven't watched him 2-3 times in the league, and possibly the strongest left foot centre back presently we have in the Nigerian Premier League.
Welcome.
How are you?
Welcome.
Right.
Thank God.
Yeah, of course. What I wanted to do, I don't want to do this because it's not really what it is.
Yeah, welcome back. We made a changeover. The midfielder is out, so we brought in another midfielder. I don't know if he's as fantastic as the one that just left, because those are holes we actually need to plug in the national team. It's easier for us to do it in the studio, but on the field of play, it's always very, very difficult. Jimmy Ogulona is here.
I wonder how good a coach will be. It's always a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so it's been more or less the women doing great things.
As usual.
The MFM basketball team, you know, qualifying for the African finals in December. I think some 20-something days away, 25, 26 days away.
Yeah, starting on the 6th of December.
I think it's something really, really noteworthy.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
So, I mean, it's great to be here.
It's great to be here, yeah, because you're celebrating the women. Yeah, it's always good to celebrate them. But Jimmy, quickly, we're taking a look at the Super Eagles. I mean, where we need to plug in. I mean, Daffy has done a fantastic job. You're talking about, especially that midfield. We're having issues. For you, I mean, we have players in the league. We'll delve into the Premier League shortly. We have players in the league, and we've not been able to plug. You know, most of us have not even remembered this that been going on for a very, very long time. I mean, that seems to be like the Achilles heel of the national team. I will not be able to. I mean, how do we fill in? Because our league is better off than it was 4 or 5 years ago. We've been having a consistent league for the past 2 seasons.
If I were a Guava, I would just take the midfield of Rangers.
Okay.
Trust me, I'll just stop. You know why? Because what we've seen, Isaac Xavier do, Kazim Ogunleye, and also is it Chijoke, the third one.
Yes.
The three of them, they have been fantastic in midfield. So at times we have to strategically think outside the box or think as if there's no box really, and do some radical things. He said a lot of things in terms of how do you get to find out how good they are if you don't try them. You have to try new things.
Games like these are the time for you to actually give them a chance.
Give them a chance. Look at Tolu Arokudare, for example. Look at the statistics. I mean, he's someone I've followed for no less than 3-4 years. Year in, year out, he's been consistent, goes to score goals at plenty. He's one of the most talked about in that league. You heard when he actually did address the issue of the attacking midfielder, when he talked about Ebenezer Akinson-Miro. We have certain players, Uche Crisantos also for Etafe. We have players that are doing quite well everywhere. So if we so much as, you know, prototype our team and say, this is the set of players that we want to continue to use, I mean, it will not bode well for us. I have listened to, you know, quite some sort of criticisms as per Victor Collins. At a point, I think he went to Amana Baghdad in Iraq, came back. He's really been with Nasarawa. He's one of the best, you know, central defenders in the country. Also, you know, left playing also, and I think it's very crucial for us to. It's a natural fit. I mean, Semi Ajayi being injured and all that, I think it's a good one for the NPFL. But we've got to do more. I always advocate to have no less than 5 players in the team, and I don't think it's too much to ask for. Anas is doing well for Kano Pillars. Okwe has been talking about Ahmed Musa. There's no reason why we can't bring an Ahmed Musa in when you have the likes of Ian Acho not doing wonders. Sadiq Kumar, a lot of criticisms. Well, there are also arguments to say maybe the sort of striker is playing in the 4-2-3-1. I don't know what that means, you know. We remember what happened in January. A lot of grammar. What happened in January when he had to leave the camp abruptly because of the injuries that were said to maybe not have been
not as serious as
but he said we saw him play thereafter. But let's just hope for the best. We know that the coaches at the end of the day, they will be responsible for whatever. They will be accountable for whatever.
That's what I love about it, because we just come here and talk about it, give you ideas, and see if we can flow with that and see if we can actually have a better midfield. But quickly, we'll go to NPFL. Dafe, stay with us on this one. Lobby Stars finally got. They had a new coach, the technical advisor from Finland. I was trying to get his position, but said he's the technical advisor. You still have Daniel Amokachi, still the head coach. But this game against Bayelsa United ended 3-1. I mean, scoring 3 goals. What was it? We're waiting for them to actually move. But I'll come to you here, Dafe. I mean, for Lobby Stars, Daniel Amokachi, you know, a former player, he has taken over this team. He was talking about the fact that he's working with the players he's got. He can't really go out there and get new players because he met this team. He came in when the season has already started. But getting this their first win, is this springboard for them to do something great in the league this season?
Well, I don't want to call it new manager bounce or whatever. There was obviously something lacking with the team. There was something obviously there's something obvious that Amokachi needed to change, because he was brought in to turn around their fortunes. He has been unable to. He now brought in an expert from wherever, I think Finland, And that he would have sat down, looked at the players, whether he read them the riot act, whether he told them to do certain things differently. It has changed. The management structure has changed. The impetus on the field has changed as well. So I think the best way to measure it is to see how they do over 2, 3, 4, 5 games rather than this one game. It could be a fluke. We're not sure, but I would say give him maybe 3 games to see if there's a pattern emerging rather than just focus on this one result.
All right.
And I agree with him totally because if you look at it, Lundstrom has been, all over the place. Been to Maldives, coached at Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Slovakia, in Finland. He's been at different places. Coach women football, age grade. He's been sporting director, head of operations, around and about. So the question really is, what exactly is he going to bring to this team? What philosophy does he have? And like I said, basically you have to wait for like 3 to 5 games to really understand that, we saw what happened with Emmanuel Amunike. The first set of games, we saw that the team struggle, and people were like, is it going to be non-Dimitris for him? But you can see what he's been able to do with that team. So we have to wait also to see what Lundstrom is going to do with this team.
You think there's a new manager bounce, or maybe there's something he has discovered that maybe
I think he has discovered something. No, Amokachi had that team, and he was still struggling, getting drills here and there, and so for Amokachi to also get the helping hand, he knows he needed help somewhere, and for the man to come on board, and you are getting this. What was the last time even Lobby was scoring like more than a goal, and now you're having 3 goals all of a sudden against Bayelsa? So that means Amokachi spotted what he needed, and that need is getting the result for him.
Getting results for him. Before we move to Kano Pillars quickly, Ken, on this one, Lobby Stars, Daniel Amokachi getting this 3 goals. I mean, that's what they're happy about. These numbers of goals that were scored, not just edging or by a lone goal or a fluke, but this was a proper beat down. Looking at the way the goals were actually scored.
That we talked about not taking the when you have new manager, you have that bounce that people come in. But like you said, Lobby beating Abia Warriors by 3 goals to 1. Probably they're on their way back. But let us see if they can. The performance in the next 2-3 matches will now show how consistent they are, if they are really back, or if this one is just a one-off. But like you said, my excitement has to do with Kano Pillars going to Ogbe Stadium there to go and beat Insurance.
Really?
Insurance last week went to Sunshine Stars and won. But here they are, also being beaten by Kano Pillars. The same Kano Pillars that Remo Stars went to Kano to beat. I think it has been an excitement for me seeing this. But in this Insurance game, people were saying probably, I don't look at and still don't talk about officiating, that probably the Kano Pillars guy before that, the pass was a bit off. I don't know, that is the technical ground, but I'm not looking at the overall performance. Even if it has ended goalless, it would have been at least the way teams are playing in the performances majorly. Referees make mistakes all over the world, as long as it is not, a dubious, officiating. If it's incompetence, if it is oversight, we can look at all that. But this gladdens my heart. Team going there, say, we are gradually getting something that looks like a level playing field, fairness in officiating, and that is the injustice even against the home team. That is even better for us to say yes, the away teams can get hopeful that they can get results.
Okay, I think you're just trying to rub this in. I mean, you kept rubbing it in home team, home team, home team. I understand what you're saying, but the good thing is, I mean, there's no team from Delta State that is actually playing in the top flight at the moment, so it's a good one. Let me come to you here quickly. I mean, Kano Pillars. I mean, this was we just saw the highlights. I mean, the way the penalty came, and of course Rabi Ali would never miss from that spot. That's something he has been doing for Pillars. Somehow he always come to the party, and somehow he always give them what they want, and usually at the end of the day they come out tops. This particular incident, yes, it was late into the game. What's your take on this?
Well, like was said, relying on a late penalty to win the game is is one thing. But again, you know, it becomes very hot because to go all the way to an away game and win by a very late penalty. I watched some of the reactions from some of the fans, and they were not happy. But when you look at it over this league, over this season, we have seen so many away games. I think there was 1 week where there were 3 away wins, 3 draws, and only a couple of home wins. So it bodes well for the officiating. It shows that we're going in the right direction. It shows that, and the fact that the fans are behaving themselves when this thing happens shows that whether they're getting the security right or they're getting used to the fact that they cannot win all of their home games, or the NPFL or the league management is actually coming down hard on the clubs to say, listen, we are now giving you a league that more or less starts on time, finishes on time, and we're getting the officiating right. You now also need to play your part in this so that we can present ourselves as a league which is really doing well for the footballers, doing well for the football ecology, if you like. So it's a good thing, like Ken said. Again, I have a kind of affinity for Bended Insurance. I have the jersey. I look out for their results. Yes, Kano Pillars came down to beat Bended Insurance. It's part for the court. At the end of the day, it's good for Nigerian football.
Yeah, good for Nigerian football, and it's not looking good for them in the table of 14 position. That's where they are at the moment after 11 matches, and of course they have just 12 points. Insurance, okay, but that's how it is. But no, we just let's quickly
125 goals.
Yeah. 125 goals.
Mistro.
And he's a midfielder.
And he's been doing it for them almost 50 years.
I totally agree with Daffy. Why this guy has never, ever. I mean, has he ever gotten a call-up?
I think he
did.
He got the call-up.
Did he play?
I think one of those backwater matches. Yes. No, like.
What a description of backwater competition. I've been trying to think if he had I know he has gotten a call-up, but I can't remember if he
But I also think he's a late bloomer.
I don't remember whether they don't call him, but they never call him.
You can't even remember. That's how.
He's a late bloomer, so I think he has a major factor.
Late bloomer or not,
he played those dead rubber matches. He played.
Those dead rubber matches. 125 goals now. I mean, give it to him. He's 40 and he's still playing
44.
Like this.
44 to be exact.
Wait, 44
to be exact.
Okay.
19.
I'll drop my pen. Because the way I see him on the field of play, I watch him at Canopy. His energy and everything. The way he rolls through, his composure.
98 minutes, he goes for this penalty and he scores.
And he scores.
Very composed manner.
He doesn't get tired.
Wow.
Are you sure he's 44 or he can't remember his age?
Let's come back to the ladies.
Okay, yeah, because we can go on and on and on. But before we go to the ladies, let's quickly take a look at the fixtures for today. These 2 games were played on Saturday. We have other games that will be played today. And of course, you have the likes of Rangers in action. Rivers United, after losing their unbeaten run at Ikorodu City, to see what they can bring up this weekend. But the big one, Eiba and Remo Stars are in action. Heartland and Sunshine Stars. You have Katsina and Ikorodu City, Nasarawa United and Kwara United. And of course, you have other games where you have Shooting Stars are in action against Academy Warriors. Rivers United hosting Bayelsa United, beating 3-1 at Lobby Stars. Plateau United and Enugu Rangers and Niger Tornadoes and Aqua United. So these are match day 11 fixtures for you. Wherever you are, if you're closer to any stadium, just go there and enjoy good matches. There's security and, of course, no fan troubles anymore. All right, we're leaving the NPFL and quickly talk about the CAF Women's Champions League. I don't know how much Dafa will tell us more about this one, but then let's quickly take a look at the result, the games that were played on Saturday. It started yesterday, and of course you have Asfa of Morocco getting up to a winning start, and you also have Mamelodi Sundowns will be in action today. CB of Ethiopia and the Edo Queens will be in action today. Later today, the first game is at 2 p.m. The other is at 5 p.m. That's that of Edo Queens. But the opening game, TP Mazembe making a return since that time they were around in 2022. They are making a return. Of course, they were able to beat University of West Cape, University of Western Cape, in a South African team who are making their debut 2-0. Of course, as far as Morocco winning against their opponents 3-0. All right. But for today, of course, where Edo Queens will be in action, we have to listen to the coach of Edo Queens, Moses Adiku, talking ahead of what is expected from the championship. Yes, they are making their debut, but they're not just going there to compete against the best, but they want to be competitive and compete for the trophy.
Here to compete for every game and try to win every game. You know what that means? We are here to compete for the cup. The 8 teams that are here, they are all good. They are all good, but we take it one game at a time. We try to attack the opponent, because the best way of defending is to attack. We try to attack and try to see how we can score goals. You know, some of my players are national team players, and you know, this is also a big competition. So I think my camp is cool, and I believe the pressure is not much like that. But every game comes with pressure, but we're going to manage it.
Game comes with the pressure, but you're managing it. CB of Ethiopia making their 2 debutants be in action later today. Ken, yes, we're starting off now with the CAF Women's Champions League. The money is big. I mean, $600,000 for the winners. And of course, as long as you're coming to participate, you just take 150 grand. That's it.
When you are saying 150 grand, tall and well, 150.
Okay, $150,000 US dollars.
$1,000. By just getting to Morocco, you get that. Then if you didn't come last, you understand? If you third, they will add extra. They will add extra $50,000. You are going with 200,000. You understand? Now, if you make, you know, come move. It's okay now. I've got the 18 now. You move a little bit higher. You get to 300,000. Then when you get to 3rd place, you know, 350. When you get to 4th place, $400,000. You can win $600,000. Tell me, $150,000 is over. That should be how many millions now? Over 200 million, 250 million. We are talking about, you know, exchange rate that is going on now. So for Edo Queens now, I think that money will be something that will ginger them to prepare, you know, get things, you know, welfare, anything they want to. But let us say this clearly: Edo Queens is fortunate to be one of those teams. I don't know other teams in Nigeria where the male, they earn the same thing as Bendel. Their players earn the same as Bendel insurance players. There is a parity of salary in all, because they are all owned by Edo State government, but they are doing Bendel Insurance and Edo Queens. So this coming in will be very good. And if they go higher and get to that particular point, I tell you, this is what's frustrating. I'll be able to get the best players and also cater for, you know, their incoming ones.
Yeah, all right, cater for the incoming ones. Dafe, want to thank you so much for joining us on the show today. But before we let you go, just a quick one on the CAF Women's Champions League. How competitive they may be with the kind of incentive that is being added to it, the mentioners and the visibility, because you can actually watch it across the world, both on cable TV and, of course, on YouTube and everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's visible for sure. I can't pretend to be an expert on the CAF Women's Champion League per se. But again, the fact that the remuneration is decent, the fact that the visibility is there, and again, even our last Super Falcons, it was home-based, dominated for the 2 matches against Algeria, which we won both. It's a very good advert for the women's game to show that it's not just foreign professionals that can do it. Our Nigerian girls at home can also do it on the African stage. It is a very good advert for women's football. And the fact that the prize money is decent. My only wish is that they reinvest that money into their grassroots football so that they can unearth more players. Because again, even those our Super Eagles, Super Falcons, people like Rashida Tajibade, people like Asisa Toshoala, they came from these same grassroots teams and local teams, whether it's Robo FC, whether it's Edo Queens. It's only a good thing for women's football, not just in Nigeria, but for Africa as a whole. And I just wish the Edo Queens get, at least, even if it's just to the finals, to come home with something decent, and that the players share in that prize money. Because it's not just the club to say, let's put this in training, let's put this in recruitment. We should also put something, at least ring fence some of that prize money for the players who actually did the job on the pitch.
Yeah, Daphne, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Cecilia. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Okwe, and everybody watching. Thank you very much.
All right. Just a quick one. When you're having fun, time is running fast. But let's go to basketball. Or you want to chip in on 30 seconds on
No, let's go to basketball.
Okay, basketball, yes. You're eager to talk about basketball.
The 600,000 is like 1 billion naira. So
okay, you've calculated it already. I know, as a banker.
So I think the outgoing and incoming governor, they should know what is at stake.
That reinvestment.
And the outgoing governor has really invested in this team. I think.
Exactly. So that continuity must be there.
It must be there.
Investment in marketing, in talent identification, nurturing, merchandise, everything. It has to be a total package.
Hope they're listening and wish them all the best as they play their opening game against CBE today, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. All right, just a quick one. Mr. Ken, basketball quickly. With MFM, of course, they picked that ticket, anticipating and waiting for the ticket. They've had it already.
In fact, when they were drawn against Custom, I was saying, why should the Nigerian teams meet at the semi-finals? So they are qualified. But I was told that, Custom topped their group while MFM came second. But and then MFM has qualified. It is good. It is good. It is good for Nigerian basketball. This is also, they will also earn some decent amount of money and exposure here. And that is what we are talking about. I think 5 members of this MFF team are already in the Tigress team that is playing. So it tells you that, evolution teams from the home side are all doing well. This is actually lovely. We love to see them go and pitch their tent against the best of female basketballers on the continent.
Yeah, it was very close. 54. 50, yeah, it was very 57, 53. Yeah, it was very close. It was a close one, and the way they were dishing in the threes. What I love about this MFM team, champions in the league,
coached by
here, of course. Yeah, and they're doing very well. Just a quick one for you. Yeah.
So basically, we're just happy. We're happy at the fact that, just like Ken did say, we're happy at the fact that we're having our ladies strut that stuff and do us proud. And we can just, the only thing we can just do at this point in time is to wish them well. When they go to Dakar in Senegal, let them represent us well and bring home the diadem.
Yeah, $600,000 looks like a huge sum of money, but Coco Gauff,
that money,
Coco Gauff got 4.8 million.
Thank you. Exactly. 4.8.
Someone who barely led her teenage.
She's 20.
She led Paris tearfully. She was the flag bearer, but she lost in the 3rd round. With had issues with the umpire, and coming to the biggest event,
went on to win it.
Yes, now beating the Olympic champion in the final. Getting $4.8 million. I know we got the Williams sisters because of the prize money of about $40,000 their father sold. Now a 20-year-old girl getting $4.8 million in Saudi Arabia.
What's most exciting is the fact that she has now gotten her career set. Virtually everything. The 250 points, 500 points, 1,000,
added with the money, the biggest WTA.
in women's history.
You have to drop your pen. We need to get out.
Your $10 pen.
Your $10, your £10 pen.
Okay, drop your £10 pen.
Yeah, okay. I'm really excited in dropping this pen. As at 23rd of August 2024, she has earned about $27.1 million with this $4.8 million. That tells you that she has earned about 31.9, almost $32 million. I tell you this at 20. I drop my pen on this.
Please quickly drop it there. I don't know what I'm doing here. So please what?
At 20, please.
At 20. What was I doing? I was in uni. Thank you guys for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.